There are battles no one can see, not on the field, but inside the mind. Thoughts that whisper failure, fear, regret. They creep in quietly, feeding on our doubt. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If so, most of us are painted in shades of worry. But he also believed, we hold the brush. The storm within us isn't the enemy, it's the proof that we are alive, capable of change, capable of control. Your greatest opponent doesn't wear armor. It doesn't speak aloud. It lives behind your eyes, waiting for you to believe its lies. You're not enough, it says. You'll fail again. Yet Marcus knew this enemy well. He faced it daily, ruling an empire while wrestling with his mind. His weapon, awareness. He understood that, when we observe our thoughts, we disarm them. To see the poison is to stop drinking it. Imagine living in a prison without bars, where the walls are built from memories, and the guards are your own emotions. That's what negative thinking does. It locks you in stories that no longer exist. Marcus reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Every time we forget that truth, we hand over the keys. Freedom begins the moment you stop believing every thought you think. We blame the world for our suffering, but often, it's just our reflection staring back. The Stoics taught that perception is everything. What you see isn't reality, it's your interpretation. When you choose to see pain as a teacher, it stops being punishment. The mirror of your mind will always show what you project onto it. Change the lens, and the world transforms with you. Control. It's the heart of Stoicism, but not control over others, or fate, or luck. Only over your thoughts. The rest belongs to chaos. Marcus trained his mind like a soldier trains his body. When anger rose, he observed it. When fear appeared, he questioned it. That's how he won. Quietly, internally. The power to kill negative thoughts isn't about violence. It's about mastery. Calm, steady, deliberate. Every day, you carry things no one else can see, regrets, comparisons, unspoken fears. You call it responsibility, but often, it's just emotional baggage disguised as duty. Marcus Aurelius warned, if it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. Yet we still carry what doesn't belong to us, other people's expectations, imagined judgments. The Stoic path isn't about caring less, it's about carrying less. There's a voice that never stops. It talks when you're silent, doubts when you decide, and argues even when no one's listening. That's the noise within, the constant commentary of the mind. The Stoics trained themselves to listen differently. Marcus would write down his chaos, bleed it onto paper, then leave it there. Writing was his weapon. Reflection, his silence. Because only in silence can truth be heard. Most of our pain doesn't come from life itself, but from how we repeat it. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. That's what Seneca said. We replay scenes that no longer exist, punish ourselves for ghosts. But suffering, when faced directly, shrinks. Like a shadow under sunlight. You can't kill a thought you refuse to face. To overcome pain, first stop rehearsing it. The modern mind is addicted to comparison, to others, to yesterday, to illusions. Marcus lived among emperors, philosophers, and warriors, yet he never tried to be any of them. Be like the rock, he said, against which the waves break, but it stands firm. Comparison makes you fragile. Stillness makes you unshakable. The moment you stop measuring yourself by others, you start meeting yourself. Emotion isn't the enemy, but its tyranny is. Anger demands control. Fear begs for certainty. Desire promises peace, but delivers restlessness. The Stoics didn't suppress emotion, they mastered it. Marcus didn't ask for a calm life. He built calmness within chaos. The wise don't run from feeling, they question it. Because emotion loses power when reason enters the room. Anxiety lives in the future, always one step ahead, whispering of disasters that haven't happened. Marcus wrote, do not let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. He faced plagues, wars, betrayal, yet he slept in peace. Why? Because the present was his fortress. When your mind runs ahead, call it back. Tomorrow doesn't exist yet. It only borrows space from today. We think control means bending the world to our will, but Stoicism flips that illusion. Real control begins when you accept how little you have. The river flows whether you fight it or not. Marcus found peace not by changing the current, but by moving with it. Surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom in motion. You can't control the waves, but you can learn how to steer. Anger feels powerful, but it's just borrowed fire. The Stoics saw it as self-inflicted punishment, a wound we choose to reopen. Marcus asked himself, who harms you by their anger, yourself or them? The answer was always the same. Each time you react, you lose mastery. The strong don't suppress anger, they outgrow it. Because calmness, not rage, is the highest form of power. The mind can turn against itself. It whispers, criticizes, sabotages. But the Stoic knows, thoughts are just clouds passing over the sky. You are not the storm, you are the sky itself. Marcus didn't fight his mind, he guided it. When a thought said, "You're weak," he answered, "Then I will train." To kill negative thoughts, you must first stop believing their voice is yours. Change doesn't begin with success, it begins with awareness. One quiet moment where you finally see the pattern, the same reaction, the same story, looping endlessly. Marcus wrote not to inspire others, but to remind himself, discipline is the cure for chaos. The war against negativity isn't loud. It's the small, daily act of noticing. Each time you catch a thought before it controls you, you win. There comes a morning when the noise fades, not because the world is quieter, but because you finally stop listening. You begin to see your thoughts as travelers, not masters. Marcus called this the discipline of perception, to look at things as they are, stripped of judgment. You realize that peace isn't found, it's trained. The storm was never outside you. It was always your own mind, asking to be understood. Between stimulus and response lies a moment, a breath of freedom. Most never find it, they react instantly. But the Stoic lives in that breath. Marcus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's the space where wisdom lives. The pause before the storm, where you decide whether to feed the flame or let it fade. Mastery is built in the seconds no one else sees. Life will never slow down for you. The world won't wait for your peace. But Stoicism teaches that you don't need the world to be calm, only yourself. Marcus faced invasions, loss, betrayal, yet remained unbroken. His peace wasn't fragile, it was forged. True calm isn't the absence of chaos. It's the refusal to let chaos live in you. Acceptance isn't giving up, it's letting go of illusion. The Stoic accepts not because he's weak, but because he's wise. He knows the river flows with or without him. Marcus wrote, "Accept everything which happens, as it was meant to happen." The moment you stop fighting what is, your energy returns. Acceptance is not surrender, it's alignment with reality. The present is the only place you're truly alive. Regret drags you backward. Anxiety drags you forward. But the Stoics stood still, right here, right now. Marcus called the present the narrow path to peace. Every breath, every heartbeat, is an invitation to return. When your mind wanders, call it home. Because peace is never in the past or future, only in presence. Build your mind like a fortress. Let reason be the wall, and virtue the gatekeeper. The world can rage, but inside, there is order. Marcus imagined his mind as a citadel, untouchable by fortune, by pain, by insult. You can't stop the arrows of life, but you can choose not to let them pierce your peace. A strong mind doesn't escape life, it endures it beautifully. Emotion is energy. The Stoic doesn't destroy it, he directs it. Marcus transformed grief into gratitude, anger into understanding, pain into purpose. This is the alchemy of Stoicism, to turn every feeling into fuel. When emotion comes, welcome it as a messenger, not a master. Feel deeply, but act wisely. That is emotional freedom. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. To love without possession, to act without expectation, to give without demand. Marcus practiced this daily, reminding himself that everything is borrowed: time, people, breath. The Stoic heart holds gently, not tightly, because only by releasing what you can't keep do you truly start living. Listen carefully to how you speak to yourself. The words you repeat become the walls of your mind. Marcus rewrote his own narrative daily, reminding himself of patience, of humility, of virtue. When your thoughts turn dark, answer them with light. When your mind says, "I can't," whisper back, "I'm learning." Change begins with conversation, and the mind always listens. Stillness isn't silence, it's awareness without resistance. The Stoic mind can sit in the middle of noise and remain untouched. Marcus found stillness in the roar of Rome. You can find it in the rush of modern life. Stillness isn't about escaping the world, it's about understanding it so deeply that nothing can disturb you anymore. When you reach this state, thoughts die, peace lives. Marcus Aurelius never chased happiness, he pursued virtue. To him, happiness was a shadow that followed when one walked the path of integrity. He looked into his mind daily, asking not, "Am I happy?" but, "Am I honest? Am I just?" The Stoic doesn't seek comfort, he seeks alignment with truth. When your actions reflect your principles, the mirror of your mind becomes clear, and peace follows naturally. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Marcus lived as an emperor, yet his heart remained humble. He wrote of eating simply, dressing plainly, and thinking purely. In a noisy world, simplicity is rebellion. You don't need more, you need less noise, less desire, less distraction. The simpler your life, the sharper your perception, the fewer your wants, the freer your soul. We are brief visitors in an endless story. Marcus often reminded himself of death, not morbidly, but but as clarity. You could leave life right now, he wrote. Let that determine what you do and say, and think. To remember death is to remember what matters. When you face mortality, negative thoughts lose their weight. Fear dissolves, because you finally see how precious each moment truly is. Victory doesn't happen on battlefields, it happens in silence. When the thought arises, you're not enough, and you smile instead of believing it, that's victory. When anger visits but you choose patience, that's mastery. The Stoic wins by surrendering nothing to chaos. The war against negativity was never about others. It was about reclaiming your mind, inch by inch, breath by breath. In the end, Marcus Aurelius didn't kill his thoughts. He transformed them. Every doubt became a question. Every pain became wisdom. Every storm became stillness. The Stoic doesn't escape darkness, he carries light into it. When you understand this, you'll see that killing negative thoughts isn't destruction, it's rebirth. The mind becomes calm, the soul becomes steady, and you, finally, become free.